Thanks for tuning in. Got a special thing for you this evening. But first and foremost, the Snow family wants to give everybody a huge shout out. Y'all voted on the HGTV, what was that, between us and Tiny Home Luxury Living, which is an awesome show in itself. But we won, and so 5 hours of Texas Flip and Move aired on HGTV. Thank you so much for voting for us. Now then, before I get into what I want to do for this evening, I've been thinking about doing something, and this is y'all's chance. Don't miss this chance. I'm thinking on a Saturday, I'm going to interview Randy. Under this post, any questions that you can think of that you want to ask Randy, send it to me along under this post. We're going to take all of those and put them in a jar. We're going to pull random ones out, and we're going to get him to answer them. This ought to be pretty doggone interesting, if you know what I mean. All right, so now that's coming up in the near future. I'm not sure when, but I just get your questions ready and get them sent in. Okay. When you was growing up, did your parents or your grandparents, aunt and uncles, godparents, ever read you a bedtime story? Well, that kind of got in my crawl, and I've been thinking about reading a bedtime story. Yes, I know this is airing around, 5 o'clock Central Standard Time, but still, you can look at it whenever you want. A lot of you may, or I don't know, I remember watching my parents. They loved to watch Hee Haw. And there was a man on there by the name of Archie Campbell, Storyteller Deluxe. So I was listening one night, and he gave his rendition of a story based on a child's, like a little golden book, like a little child's fairy tale story. And I was rolling all over that den floor just laughing and whooping myself. Then it comes around again. And I thought, I want to share this with everybody. Heck, you may have heard it. You may have seen it. You may have saw the episode that I'm talking about. So I'm going to share. How about them apples? Snow Sisters, Texas. I'm going to read you a bedtime story. And I hope everybody likes it. Here we go. Rendersella by Archie Campbell. Well, fix my page. Once upon a time, in a corn country, there lived a beautiful girl, and her name was Rendersella. Now, Rendersella lived with her mugly other and 2 sad blisters. Also in this same corn country, there lived a pransome hens. And this pransome hens was going to have a bancy fall. And he invited people from riles amound, especially the pitch reaple. Now Rendersella's mugly other and her 2 sad blisters went to town to buy some drancy fesses for the bancy fall. But Rendersella couldn't go. All she had to wear was some old wordy dags. Finally, the night of the fancy ball arrived, and Rendersella couldn't go, so she just cat down and she shried. And she was kitting there shrine, when all of a sudden there appeared before her, her Gary Mudmother. And she tapped her with her magic wand, and there appeared before her a kig boach and Hicks white sources to take her to the bancy fall. But she said, Rendersella, be sure and be home before midnight, or you will turn into a pumpkin. When Rendersella arrived at the bancy fall, the pransome hens met her at the door because he'd been watching behind the curtain at the wooden window. And Rendersella and the handsome prince, they ranced all night until midnight, and they lell in fove. And finally, the mid-clock struck night, and Rendersella stared down the rares, and just as she reached the bottom, she slopped her dripper. The next day, this pransome hens went all over this corn country, looking for the beautiful girl who had slopped her dripper. Then finally came to Rendersella's house, and he tried it on the mugly other, and it fitted it. Then he tried it on the 2 siggly usters, and it fitted it. Then he tried it on Rendersella, and it fed it. It was exactly the sight rise. And so they were married and lived happily ever afterwards. Now the story of this story is this. If you are ever going to a bouncy fall and you want to prance some hints to lull and fuff with you, don't forget to slop your dripper. Now obviously there was words moved around in this story, but I thought it was very lighthearted. I thought it was really funny, and I really enjoyed reading it to everybody. So until next time, I'm going to bring you another story. Oh, heck, there ain't no telling what Donna's going to do next week. So y'all tune in. I hope you enjoyed your bedtime story. I'll talk to you guys later. Have a blessed weekend. Bye, everyone.